on right now via Zoom. Welcome, Hurlie Brown. Welcome to the Rashad Show.
Hey, Rashad, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. So happy to have you on. Thank you. All right. First question, man. Where you originally from, as far as like the state of Florida?
Man, I'm from Central Florida, a little bit of a town called Merritt Island. For those of you who don't know where that is, we are responsible for sending up these rockets. I'm right down the street from Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach. It's an actual island in the middle of the Intracoastal Waterway. Intracoastal Waterway, a beautiful place.
Okay. Growing up, who were your role models that you looked up to growing up, in Merritt Island, Florida? Who's like your role models?
And Bubba McDowell was probably my most influential person. He was my role model. He was my He was my guy. He was a couple of years older than me. Well, our families were real close. Bubba played high school football at Merritt Island. I mean, he was the man. He was Mr. Merritt Island. If there's any one person that we can honestly say that is the king of Merritt Island at that particular time, it would have been him. And he just kind of took me under his wing. Like I said, the families were real close. He started varsity basketball, started varsity football in the 10th grade. And, those were the things that I set my sights on. Whatever he did, I wanted to accomplish. He went to the University of Miami. I came to the University of Miami. He went off and played professional football. I played for a little bit. He paved the way. Where I'm from is a little bit of a small town, not population, at a minimum, especially one of these little towns in the state of Florida. But he was one of the ones that showed me that there's a different life outside of Merritt Island, and I followed his path.
Okay. In high school, were there any other sports that you played other than football?
Man, truth be told, I was a star basketball player.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't get a whole lot of basketball scholarships coming out of Merritt Island, but basketball was my first love.
Okay.
So I played basketball, football, and I should have ran track, but I was hard-headed.
Okay.
So I played basketball, football. Like I said, started playing varsity and both basketball and football in my 10th grade. So I used to actually go up and play and practice with the team when Will Perdue. I don't know if you may not know Will Perdue, but he's a legend now.
Will Perdue, he played for Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, he's the one that they said Michael Jordan punched in the face or whatever. But anyway, Will Perdue is from my hometown.
I think it was Steve Kerr.
No, I think he punched Will Perdue too. Well,
right.
Hey, that's the story in Merritt Island.
Okay,
so
all right.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But Will Perdue's a legend in my hometown. I used to go up and practice against those guys when I was in the 8th and 9th grade. I was a pretty good basketball player. But again, we didn't get basketball scholarships in Brevard County. We were a football program, and so once I realized that was my ticket, that's what I really put my focus on.
Okay, before, other than going, obviously you went to Miami, were there any other football programs that was coming at you to go to other schools other than Miami?
Rashad, I was the man. So there was a whole bunch of football programs coming after me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, no, I'm just teasing. But no, I was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but hey, I ain't gonna let that slip by me either. Okay. University of Florida, South Carolina, Auburn. I took a trip to Auburn. I had a bunch of schools that were recruiting me, but I minimized the amount of schools that I was going to pay attention to, or that I was going to give a lot of response back to, kind of early. So I always knew I wanted to go to Miami. I think a lot of people knew that. I committed to Florida because at one point I fell in love with Larry Kirksey. Larry Kirksey was the running backs coach at the University of Florida, a long time football coach. As a matter of fact, Larry was actually one of the coaches on the staff at the University of Alabama when we played the University of Alabama in the Sugar Bowl in 1992. The year I was coaching as an undergraduate assistant at Miami. But he was a great guy. I fell in love with him. I mean, he come to my basketball games. He did everything right. But Don Solinger was recruiting me at the University of Miami. My brother, Bubba McDowell, was there, along with another Merritt Island great Eric Ham. They were both there at Miami at the time. And when I took those trips to Miami, man, it was different. It was different. And so, committed to Florida because of my love for Larry. Two of my teammates, Jerry Odom, Cal Dixon, we were all coming out the same year. They all committed to Florida. Jerry's dad had a lot to do with him going to the University of Florida. Cal fell in love with it. We were all slated to go there together. And then, man, I went down there and watched the Hurricanes play. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to come back to my school. Mm-hmm. So, because I was a part of Miami from when the time Bubba started going down to school in 1984. Mm-hmm. His dad would come pick me up every Saturday. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget, on Friday nights, he would ride by my mom's house and stop by and go in there and ask her, hey, is Hurlie going to come to the game with me? I didn't have a driver's license, but Saturday morning, he'd come and pick me up. I'd drive to Miami. Me and him would go down and watch Bubba play. Then I'd drive back. And, so I was very familiar with what was going on down there at Miami since 1983, 84. So that was my school of choice.
Okay, what was it like meeting Jimmy Johnson for the first time?
I guess you could say it was the equivalent to somebody who was actually, you thought he could walk on water. I mean, really, he was very stern. He was almost like a god. He was just a great person. You knew that there was no nonsense. You knew he had a vision. He didn't play a whole lot of games. It was amazing. And, for me, it was different because I hadn't been seeing him. I'm in the locker room every now and then, going down there hanging out with Bubba and the fellows and stuff like that. I never got a chance to meet him until I was actually being recruited by him. And I'll be honest with you, man, he was just one of those guys that you felt, hey, look, this is one of the guys that I want to play for. This is a guy that I think that can teach me more than just football. And he did.
Okay.
He actually saved my life, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go over, 1988, that was your first year, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Your first year. Okay. 1988, obviously, the first game you played, I don't know if you played in this game, but in 88, it was against Florida State. Now, tell me about the story about Jimmy Johnson putting in the videotape about the Seminole Rat.
Oh, you know about that? I thought that was a secret. I thought only true Miami people knew about that one, huh?
Yeah, because I watched the U documentary.
The 30 for 30.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, okay. They just spilled all the beans. They tell everything on them doggone 30 for 30s, Rashad, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was my first year actually getting a chance to play. And I have a very unique story, but you ain't got no time on your show for me to get into all that. But my story was that, I got there in 88. I got a chance to play as a true freshman. One of the only it was Daryl Spencer and myself. We got a chance to travel with the travel squad as true freshmen. So anyway, we get ready to play Florida State, and we always had that Thursday night team meeting, where we go in and pick the captains. We get our ticket list done and stuff like that. So we're sitting in there and we're waiting on coach, and all of a sudden, the ticket guy shows up, and he's got a friend of his from Florida State, but we're not paying attention to it. We just know that our ticket guy hands out our list. He goes through and makes sure everybody's filling out their list for tickets for families and stuff like that. So we're all going through this and we're writing it down. All of a sudden, Jimmy walks in. Now, mind you, back then, when a head coach walked into a meeting, no matter what you were doing, no matter where you were, you all of a sudden get stood at attention. You sat down, you stopped talking. When he walked in, and this was Jimmy's deal, when he walked in, everybody was at attention. I don't care who you were, Michael Irvin, Benny Blake, it didn't matter. Melvin Bratton, Lonzo Hoffman, stars of the team. Everybody gave him the due respect that he deserved. And they shut up and they listened. So this particular night, I'm going through the tickets the whole night, y'all. All right, bam. All of a sudden, Jimmy opens the door. He walks in. Everybody gets quiet. Jimmy sees this guy with